Good morning, everyone. I am super excited to be here today to read to you The Year of the Dog by Grace Lynn. All right, everybody, so sit back, relax. We're going to read chapters 3 and 4. Chapter 3 Welcoming the New Year. After dinner, Mom gave us our hung bao, special red envelopes the color of fully bloomed poinsettia with money in them. Mine had $5. That was a lot of money, but not enough to make me rich. Lizzie got $10 since she was older. Then Mom got us ready for bed. Kiki had her own bed in her own room. She never slept the whole night there. She always got up in the middle of the night and went to go sleep with Mom and Dad. Lizzie and I shared a room. Our room was buttercup yellow with flowers dancing on the wall. The carpet was bright blue, so I liked to pretend it was the ocean and swim to the bunk bed. Lizzie slept on the top bunk because she was older, and Mom was afraid I would roll off in the middle of the night. But I didn't like sleeping on the bottom. What if the bed broke and Lizzie came crashing through? Lizzie would be okay because she'd be on top, but everything would crush me. Traditionally, Mom told us as she was helping Kiki put on her faded sky blue pajamas, you are supposed to stay up as late as you can on Chinese New Year. The longer you stay awake, the longer your parents' lives will be. So I should try to keep you up all night. But tomorrow is school, so everyone goes to sleep. Aren't you worried? I asked. We should stay up. So then you could have a long life. Yeah, Lizzie said, let's stay up late. We don't have to go to school tomorrow. No school, Kiki chanted. No school. Sillies, Mom said. Everyone is going to sleep early and everyone is going to school tomorrow. But after she left, I worried. What if I went to sleep too soon and gave Mom and Dad a short life? If I stayed up an extra minute, would they live an extra year or just an extra day? Don't go to bed yet. Let's stay up, I said to Lizzie. Okay, Lizzie said. But I can tell she was thinking more about staying up late than Mom and Dad's lives. We turned on our bed lights and Lizzie took out her book. She was reading Mary Poppins. It was very different from the Disney movie we saw. In the book, Mary Poppins was really grumpy, but the characters have better adventures. They even see a circus in the stars. I wondered why they didn't put that in the movie. And Lizzie said it would probably be because it was too hard to make the animals glitter. I opened my book. It was called B. B is for Betsy. And it was about an American girl going to school. I liked it very much, but I couldn't stop thinking about what Mom said about the year of the dog and how it was the year I should think about what I wanted to do when I grew up. Lizzie, I asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? I'm going to be a doctor, Lizzie said, like Dad and Grandpa. I don't know what I want to be, I said. You should be a doctor too, Lizzie said. You can get rich by being a doctor. Can't you get rich by being something else? I asked. Movie stars are rich. You can't be a movie star, Lizzie said. You have to be beautiful to be a movie star. You're not pretty enough to be a movie star. That's not nice. I stuck my tongue out at her, but since she was in the top bunk, she didn't see. Besides, she continued, you have to have acting talent to be an actress. You better pick something that you have some talent in. How do I know if I'm talented at something? I asked. I don't know, Lizzie said carelessly. I could hear her turning the page of her book. Maybe if you won an award or something. But I've never won anything, I said. Well, maybe you'll win something later, Lizzie said. I could tell she wasn't really paying attention to me. There's lots of time. That was true. I had a whole year to figure things out. I watched the stars light up like a string of Christmas lights while I thought about what the year would bring. When I heard Lizzie snore, I turned off my lamp and went to sleep. The year of the dog was here. Chapter 4, Talent. Soon Mom was shaking me awake. My eyelids felt as heavy as sacks of rice. Wake up, sleepyhead, Mom said. You'll be late for school. No, I mumbled and turned over. Wake up, Mom said, pulling me up. I sat up but groaned. I'm too tired to go to school, I said. You're just too lazy, Mom said, teasing me. Get up. So before I knew it, I was getting dressed and brushing my teeth. I went downstairs to have breakfast. Mom put a bowl of watery rice porridge and flaky dried pork in front of me. I yawned. Do I have to go to school? I moaned. Yes, Mom said. How else will you learn things? Besides, you shouldn't start off the year of the dog as a lazy dog. Will school teach me what I'm talented at? I asked. Mom mentioning the year of the dog reminded me about finding myself. Yes, Mom said. I'm sure it will. No, Lizzie cut in. It won't. You have to have talent to discover it. You don't have any. I opened my mouth to retort, but a yawn interrupted. I'm too tired to go to school, I said again. Better wake up, Kiki chanted. Better wake up. Yeah, Lizzie said. Don't fall asleep in school. Mom poured a glass of juice and laughed. Did I ever tell you about the time I fell asleep in school? Mom sleeps in school. In Taiwan, school is different than it is here. School wasn't just to teach you about reading and writing. It was supposed to teach you how to be a good citizen as well. Every Monday, there was a school assembly. All the students had to wear a special uniform, a seaweed-colored jumper, shirt, and hat. It had to be clean and unwrinkled and as stiff as a piece of new cardboard. Then, in these uncomfortable uniforms, we had to stand outside the courtyard while the principal and the vice principal and the guidance counselors gave long and important speeches. They would tell us how critical it was that we follow all the rules and work hard. It was so boring. One day, we had an extra long assembly. Not only were the principal, the vice principal, and the guidance counselor speaking, but they had a special guest. He was from the government and was going to lecture about how we should always do what we were told and not question authority. It was a hot and sticky day. The sun was like an egg yolk frying in the sky. The hundreds and hundreds of students stood like an army of ants. I stood at the very back, lost in a sea of black heads. At these lectures, no one was allowed to whisper, like soldiers listening to orders from their captain. We had to stand up straight with our hands at our sides, giving adults our absolute attention. But when the guest speaker spoke, his voice was so soft. I couldn't understand what he was saying. It was a low, mumbling swaying in the courtyard. To me, it was like a lullaby. My eyes started to droop and my head started to nod. And then suddenly, I was asleep. When I woke up, I was alone in the courtyard, except for my teacher glaring at me with her hands on her hips. I had fallen asleep so soundly that I was standing there when everyone else had gone inside. They had just left me there, standing asleep. The teacher was so angry with me. She put a big mark next to my name, and I was so embarrassed. Mom finished, but I never fell asleep again. You could fall asleep standing up, I asked. Now I was wide awake. I could fall asleep anywhere, Mom said. I was very talented.